It is your girl, Nicole Ryan with Lana Solutions, your finance advocate. And I haven't been on the set in a while, so I am so excited to come to you and talk to you about credit reports. Now, this is a topic that's near and dear to my heart. And for those of you that are new to Debt Diva, I just share briefly, Nicole Ryan, I have a debt relief company called Lana Solutions, and I work with a lot of the financial gurus and nonprofits right here in Omaha, Nebraska. And what I do, I come to you to give you financial services, financial literacy on A, B, C, and 1, 2, 3 level, right? So with that being said, let's dive in. I've been on the topic of credit reports on my radio show, which is 95.7 The Boss, Fridays at noon. And I've just been on this whole credit report piece for the last week or two. So I thought I'd go ahead and just stay in that vein. So it hit my heart to not assume everyone really knows and understands what a credit report is. So I'm going to dive in and I'm going to do what I love, and that is give you the fundamentals of financial everything. So with your credit reports, when I'm telling you to pull your credit report, most of us think we know exactly what it is and how it works. And it shouldn't be rocket science, you guys, but unfortunately, if you've ever pulled a credit report, it can seem like it's so techy and hard to do. A lot of times we don't do it. And then when we do pull it, we don't even understand what we're reading anyway. So you have 3 credit reporting agencies. You have TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. These are 3 different agencies. To the best of my knowledge, over the last 25 years, they do not communicate to each other. They can pull from each other's information, and they can also work together and collab on different reporting that they do. I have found over the last 25 years, though, that all 3 of them are their own entity. And this is for personal credit reporting. I'm not speaking on the business credit reports today. The best place for you to go online is annualcreditreport.com. You can go to annualcreditreport.com and pull all 3 credit reports. When you put annualcreditreport.com in your search engine, it's going to ask you personal information to allow you to pass the security questions to get in there to get access to your reports. This may seem super easy for some of you, but for many of us, it's not that simple, especially if you're the type where you really aren't computer savvy. That's why I've been taking the time the last week or two to really dive in a little deeper and just kind of go step by step so you can get this information. If I reiterate some of the stuff that I've already covered, maybe on another show, good. Because repetition is how we learn. So you go to annualcreditreport.com, you pull all 3 credit reports. It's going to ask you, once you get past the security questions, which one do you want to pull? Equifax, Experian, or TransUnion? Just select all 3. Then what will happen is they'll pop up one at a time. When you get into, let's say Equifax is the first one that pops up, they're going to ask you security questions. I know, right? Fun. So you've already got past annual credit reports security questions, but now you have 3 more companies where they want to make sure you are who you say you are. So Equifax will ask you similar questions to make sure you are who you say you are. So you get into Equifax. You're able to pull your credit report. The first thing I tell people to do is print a copy of it. So you're probably like, I don't have access to a printer. That's okay. Just print a soft copy of it. And if you are on a desktop or your mobile device and you don't have access to PDF, which you should, it's 2025, just do a screenshot of the summary. So what does that mean? When you go, if you have like 27 pages on your credit report, you are not going to want to do a screenshot of every single page, but you can go to your public library and you can print a copy of your credit report. If you can't go to your public library, you can go to any Office Depot, and they actually have an email address where you can have these items forward to officeprintme.com or something, but you can get it printed. I prefer you do a soft copy where you can keep it in your on your desktop or your mobile device files, so you have access to it to read it. After you've printed a copy of your first credit report, which is Equifax, go through each line item to review and make sure everything's accurate. The first thing you'll see is your personal information. And that's just your name, address, maybe your spouse's name, and place of employment, stuff like that. Nicknames, phone numbers. If it's inaccurate, just take a side note and write down the stuff that's not accurate. Continue to scroll through till you get to your revolving credit card debt or your finance loans to see if those are accurate. So that's like your credit cards, your Nebraska Furniture Mart, your auto loans, etc., etc. If for any reason these items are not accurate, just write it down, table it, and you can circle back and we can talk about disputes online, or for some people it may be easier just to call and say, hey, ABC 123 collections, I don't know what this is. I'm going to need an itemized statement. So as you're reading through all of that, if you've filed bankruptcy before, that normally will be on there. You'll see utility stuff. You'll see all kinds of stuff. If it is not accurate, all I can tell you is just write it down, make a phone call to Equifax, Experian, TransUnion, and just get it off of there. What I like consumers to do is to review that. Annualcreditreport.com will allow you to do that once a year. If Equifax, TransUnion, or Experian are being sued, or they have a lawsuit or something going on, or even your creditor, Citibank, Wells Fargo, sometimes they will give you access to a free credit report for a length of time or a one-time shot. So if you ever get letters in the mail where it's like, well, Capital One is being sued because they were hacked, and they're giving you 4 years of free credit reporting. If this has ever happened to you, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But for the most part, our banks and our original creditors like Capital One, Bank of America, US Bank, whoever you bank with, they've got into the rhythm of giving you a free credit score and credit reporting because it's going to benefit you, the consumer, anyway. So check with your bank if you've already used your one time to pull it at annualcreditreport.com, and check it regularly. If you're doing a lot of borrowing, I definitely recommend that you're checking it regularly. And also just your regular bank account in Omaha, Nebraska. or wherever your bank account is, I do recommend you check your itemized transactions monthly at least, because there's so much fraud and so many scams going on nowadays, you guys. In order to stay ahead of the game, we've got to check our transactions regularly. So whether it's your credit report or your bank account, just get in the habit of the first of each month, just taking a look at it, just to see that everything is accurate. That way, if something pops up, if you're only checking things once a year or once every 6 months, you would be surprised how folks are being taken advantage of. And then to try to report something 6 months later or a year later, folks are long gone, and it's hard to really stay on top of fraud and scammers and identity theft and all the crazy stuff that's going on nowadays. So as you're reading through your Equifax credit report, you've kind of gone through your trade lines, is what they're called, you guys, to see everyone who's reporting information. Be sure to get an understanding of what each category means. So if you see something on there that says status, and the status is telling you customer pays as agrees, or the status may say charge off, or the status may say settled in full. Just make sure whatever that status reads, it's accurate, because that status line is speaking to your credit score, if that makes sense. So if the status is saying closed, but you know the account was paid in full and never late, that is speaking to your credit score. So let's make sure that that's one of the most important lines of your credit report, is that status line. So let's make sure it's accurate. The other important lines on your credit report are your payment history. It will show you up to 2 years, but 7 to 10 years is being reported in most cases, even if you don't see it readily accessible when you pull your online credit reports. Keep that in mind, okay? So it may show you the last 2 to 3 years payment history, but they hold 7 to 10 years with regards to your credit scoring. So pay attention to that. And the reason I tell you to, because the line items are going to give you 2023, 2024, January through December, if you were in the green, paying on time, or if you are in the red, and how many months you were in the red, meaning you did not pay within that 30-day agreement. So by day 31, if you're delinquent, that's going to be a ding. And the late payments hit our credit scores hard. So make sure you stay on time, because your payment history is 35% of your credit score. And I'll say that again. Your payment history is 35% of your credit score. So stay on top of that. If you show in 2023 that you were deemed for 3 months of not being paid, and that's not accurate, we need to make sure you write that down, you table that dispute, and follow up with your creditors and let them know, hey, this is inaccurate. I need to be in the green, meaning I paid on time, July, August, September 2023. As you review this information regularly, it will start to make more sense, okay? with your credit report, as you're reviewing it, you got that personal information, you got your employment, you see all your different trade lines, all the creditors you're paying or you've already paid over the years. Then you get down, it'll start to show you your derogatory trade lines. That's your collection items. And the same thing with anything that's actively paid or active and in good standing, because we're reading our status line. Same thing with your collection items. If it's delinquent and you see it's in collections, you might see ABC 123 collections, but you don't see Geico. You only see 123 ABC collections, whatever the name is. And you owe $500 and it's been charged off because it wasn't paid. You want to make sure that that's accurate. And you'll hear me say the accuracy piece over and over again, because you want to make sure no added fees and charges or fraud or errors have been included in these balances that they claim we owe. I remember Geico, but do I remember the $500 I owe them? And if I do, what am I paying for? Because this is when you'll realize added fees and overages and charges are included and errors, right? Net, where they did a transfer of the student loans and they doubled everyone's balances, okay? Wells Fargo and so many other businesses. You can just look up lawsuits. Google lawsuits or ChatGPT lawsuits with banks and servicers. And it will be eye-opening. So that's why I'm telling you, line item upon line item. You'll hear me say that a lot too, because I want you to slow down and I want you to look at your trade lines and make sure this stuff is accurate. And if it is not, have them validate these debts so that before you pay them, you can prove that you owe it. Because just like with medical debt, right? You went to have a procedure, you need to be looking at everything on there to make sure, okay, the x-ray was $20. Then they sent me over to the physician. The physician charged $100. Then I had to go get labs. That was $30. You want to make sure all line items are being reviewed. So if you have a Cox cable bill, here's the fee for $200 a month. And then here's the fee for the equipment not being returned. Here's the late fee. Get your itemized statements, and that way you can line it up with what your credit report is saying. And if it's not accurate, that's right, dispute it and make sure they correct anything that is not accurate, all right? So we've kind of gone through the credit report. Below that, you'll see your soft inquiries, your hard inquiries. A lot of people fret inquiries. Well, I can't take out a loan because if I take out a loan, then they're going to hit me with a hard inquiry. Please do your homework on soft inquiries and hard inquiries, because we make a big fuss about something that falls off 24 months later. And when you're shopping for a home or a car, don't not shop or comparison shop because you're worried about hard inquiries or soft inquiries. Lenders know you're shopping. Make sure you get the best deal. Don't just do one hit. Well, I'm just going to go with them because I don't want no other lenders or financiers to hit my credit report. That's only 10% of your credit report and it falls off. And a smart lender will see that when they go to lend you money, because there's 7 to 10 years of history. And I'm going to look at your payment history. I'm going to look at the algorithm of your credit. And a lot of people don't realize that. So if you're in a season of buying a house and you're checking with different banks and one bank is telling you this, don't just go with that first bank. Comparison shop, and don't be afraid to get another hit on your credit report to see if you can get a better deal somewhere else, because chances are you can. I know you can. All right? Back to credit reports. So you're looking at your soft and your hard inquiries. Soft inquiries, they don't even pay attention to those. Let's make sure there's no medical debt on there, right? Because they just passed a law where all that medical debt should be taken off of there. If you do come across some medical debt, if it's hiding behind a collection agency, they're not taking this stuff off. You got to reach out to them. I've worked with enough clients now where they're saying, my medical debt is still on there. Please reach out to Equifax, Experian, TransUnion. You can Google their numbers. I'll make sure we get them under the credits. I'll try to get it set up where we can just have some of the main things that we discuss on this show over and over again, just tied to the credits. But one for sure is going to be that Equifax.com, TransUnion.com, and Experian.com. You can go and Google them or go straight to their websites and get their customer support. Some of these larger companies try to hide their phone numbers. Imagine that, right? Just Google contact support number for TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian, and it'll lay out all three right there. And you can make a phone call and get some of this stuff done immediately, right? Anytime you dispute these line items on your credit report, they give the credit grantor at least 30 days to speak to your dispute, all right? So it's not just a quick turnaround. Sometimes they turn around right away, but give it at least 30 days because legally they have 30 days to fix it. And they also log it where they'll give you an email right away letting you know, hey, we disputed this. Here's your dispute number. And you should hear something within 30 days, all right? Now, if they come back and they say it's accurate, but they don't give you any information as to why they're saying it's accurate, get them back on the phone and say, I noticed that this dispute was not fixed. What is happening? Because they're currently being sued for not doing their dual investigation to fix it, all right? So make sure you look into that. Anything else that I would tell you about credit reports, they are not the credit bureau. They are just credit reporting agencies. And they are going off of reported information that's not always accurate. So if your lender is not doing their work and they have someone in billing or their Cash App department, whoever they have reporting to your credit report, it's just a person. And you know, just like doctors, we're practicing medicine. So we're practicing billing and we're practicing reporting to your credit report. You, the consumer, have to stay on top of us to make sure what we're reporting is accurate. If you should need help, there is Consumer Credit Counseling of Nebraska who will work with you for free. There are other nonprofits here in Omaha, Nebraska that have a lot of fun credit building workshops like Bridges Out of Poverty. I do believe they pay you $300 to go through their class. If you want to, and you have before, and I thank you guys. Lana Solutions is for profit, but I will 100% get behind you, in front of you, side to side. I'm a finance advocate, and I will work with you and I will fight for you. But we are for profit. If you mention the station, we'll speak to you for free. So we will have that conversation with you, which is normally billed, right? But we will get you to the right parties too, that will do the credit building for free and will do the credit education, small businesses and personal. However, we're here. Catch the show. I give you all the business on Mondays and Fridays right here on KPO. So go back, check out some of the archives. I'm on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter. I can go on and on, you guys, but I'm here for you, all right? Credit reports. Go to annualcreditreport.com. You can get a copy of all 3 credit reports for free once a year. Get on there and see what they're saying about you. And if you need to call them, if that's easier for you, Google their phone numbers, get their phone numbers. I'll try to have their phone numbers run on this segment so that you have the customer support for all three of them. And you can even call and they'll mail you your credit report too if you don't want to deal with computers. I totally get it. I've noticed a lot of the people that watch this show have been some that are not, just don't want to mess with the computer arena, and that's fine. I get it. I'm old school when it comes to numbers myself. I like my paper and pencil, and I like to write things down and crunch numbers. But if you're needing some help with reading your credit report and just getting a better understanding of what you're doing when you pull those credit reports, do not be afraid to reach out, because I do a lot of online training too. Right now on Facebook, we have Facebook Live on Saturdays where we're teaching, and all you have to do is RSVP and be there, and we come on live, and we have about 170, 160 something days left in 2025, and I'm trying to get you, the consumer, to wrap your brains around your finances, because your paycheck is a business. Your families are a business, and we need to make sure we have good financial stewardship. Wisdom is what's going to put us ahead of the game, okay? This stuff is not rocket science. I'm here for you. It's your girl, Nicole Ryan, with Lana Solutions, your debt diva, your finance advocate. Until next time, bye.